Well, would you look at that, everybody? I'm finally back. Yeah, I took a couple of days off on vacation starting Sunday night, hung out with family and friends. Really great times, and while I was gone, really limited access to internet. But as I come back today and I finally find out that, hey, we got the price of the Steam machine, and I'm sure everything is fine, nothing is actually wrong at all, and Valve completely did not screw this up in any way whatsoever. It's bad, it's real bad, and Valve totally f***ed this up. Way to go, boys! Now look, if you haven't been keeping up with the channel for the past 8 to 9 months, you may not have known, but I've been a little bit excited for the Steam machine. Not because of its power to performance, not because of its price, but because of what it would actually do to the gaming industry and even open up a lot of the issues that we're having in games right now. Lack of ownership in games, lack of ownership in hardware, the completely yet inescapable death grip of every single game company trying to charge you more money than ever before, not only just for hardware, but also for video games, and having that piece of hardware be available to you as a consumer at the right price, mind you, would have been the ideal situation for so many people overall. Sick and tired of paying for online, tired of paying rising prices for games, and tired of not owning anything in terms of power and compute. And all Valve had to do was nothing. That's all they had to do was nothing. But apparently they did something, and it absolutely, in my opinion, completely backfired. Because according to Valve on Twitter a couple of days ago saying this, the Steam machine is here and you can sign up now. The Steam machine 512GB and the Steam machine 2TB, plus bundled versions with the Steam controller. Learn more and sign up here. Now look, I don't think the pricing is going to be that bad, right? I mean, this is Valve. They actually said when they were making the Steam Deck that getting to that price point was incredibly painful, basically meaning they took a loss on the hardware just a few years back when the Steam Deck first came out. I'm sure it's going to be priced correctly with the Steam machine, right? Well, let's take a look. Apparently, the 512GB for the Steam machine is $1,049 without the controller. All right. Look, I'm sorry. As much as I love what Valve does, as much as I love how much they tinker around, and it truly feels like every time Valve makes something, it's almost like stuck together with duct tape, and it always makes that really great source audio sound like you're colliding with something. You know the one I'm talking about, that... All right, look, let's be real about this. Enough joking around. I love what Valve does with PC gaming. However, though, this is not it. I'm sorry, brother. $1,050 for the Steam machine, which is honestly, when you think about it, only $100 more than the Steam Deck 1TB OLED model. The Steam Deck itself and its components are 4 years old. Explain to me why they had to go ahead and say, hey, we're going to add another $100 on top of the price of the Steam machine without the controller, by the way, and then that's how we're going to sell it in the first place. In my opinion, they should have just delayed the entire thing from the very beginning, or, hot take, not launch it at all. And the funnier part is, I said this exact same thing about the Steam Deck when it relaunched again with its much higher price point at $950. They should have just not ordered any extra parts from it if we were going to be in this situation as well. But the thing is, it gets even crazier. With the controller on the 512 model, it's $1,128. The 2TB model without the controller is $1,349. And the 2TB with the controller, $1,428. Look, let's be real about this. This is a 7600M laptop APU. This is stuff that AMD had on the side, doing nothing with, no one was buying, no one was doing anything with at all. And Valve said, hey, that stuff you got there, we'll take it, no problem. So I can bet my sweet bippy they probably got that on the cheap, and they could have really done a lot more with this system overall. But I think what this tells me directly is that, one, no company, regardless of whether or not they are pro-consumer or anti-consumer or pro-profit, they're all sitting there and passing the buck onto you throughout this entire RAM apocalypse. And I know there's going to be people talking about it in the comment section. But Alex, SK Hynix, Samsung, and Micron have all been creating the RAM apocalypse. Therefore, you have to be okay with this price. Absolutely not. I have been covering what's been happening in the tech space for the past 9 months on this channel, discussing every aspect of what AI has been impacting, not only with tech, but also with hardware and even PC components. And I can clearly see that what's happening right now is that every company is, yes, in fact, being put over a barrel by these actual manufacturers or by one of the 3 big in the oligopoly space. And yes, it's impacting everyone. However, Valve is a company with rumored around 300 employees. And then at the same time, they are the biggest actual storefront on the PC platform, taking 30% from every game sold on their storefront. It's gotten so bad that other countries think they're a monopoly in the gaming space, even though what they do is provide just better services overall. And you're telling me they can't subsidize $200? Absolute ridiculous behavior from Valve right now across the board, and clearly totally unacceptable. This machine should have been at the most, with the controller by the way, $750 at the very top end by what we're seeing right now. And if you don't believe me, check this out. Because according to IGN, Valve says the Steam machine saw a similar price increase as the Steam Deck, which means it was originally supposed to cost around $750. And that is actually, in my opinion, what the Steam machine should have been priced at in this economy and everything happening right now. I would have loved $499, don't get me wrong, but I'm not completely out of the loop about what's been happening in the gaming space at all. At $750, this would have put the Steam machine $150 above what the actual digital price is for the PS5 Standard Edition. And seeing as how we're watching as some games that are CPU limited perform better on the Steam machine, but GPU limited perform better on the PS5, you could theoretically say that they are trading blows depending upon the game, and some optimizations in Proton would do far better for the Steam machine in the future. The problem is this though, at $1,049, there is no conceivable way anybody can look at this machine and say that it's a good deal overall, even if it is a micro form factor PC, even if it is a 6-inch cube, and even if it does have Valve's logo printed right on the front. It's not enough even for someone like myself who loves Valve software to go out and buy this system. That's right, I'm not buying this thing at all. And I think the more insane part about this isn't the fact that Valve isn't just going around and doing all these things on the back end. I think the insane part about this is the damage control that Valve themselves are doing when they know this is the wrong thing to do overall. With Dexerto on Twitter saying this, Valve says the $1,049 Steam machine costs more than a PS5 because it refuses to sell hardware at a loss and make up the difference with subscriptions or game sales, saying, quote, "The cost of the product is basically the cost of components and what it takes to make it." In fact, here's Valve's own statement from their blog about the Steam machine. Check this out, with the question saying, "Is this the Valve console?" And the response saying, "We think of Steam machine as an extension of PC gaming, not a console. The traditional console model is to sell hardware at a loss and make up the revenue with subscription services or by selling games that are locked into the hardware. We think this can make sense for a single business in the short term, but that open ecosystems are far better for customers over the long term. PC gaming's history proves this. The openness of PC gaming space has enabled it to be primary driver for hardware and software innovation for decades. The strength of PC gaming is the ability to play games you want on the hardware you want. Steam machine is a solution to these problems, and we think it's a great one, but it's not the only solution, and we don't want it to be." And I'll be honest, that mantra is completely true. Yes, PC gaming can have a little bit more of an expensive cost on the upfront space because there's no subsidizing happening. However, the entire point of the Steam machine was in fact providing a gap and a bridge in between people who have never been on PC in the first place and those who are too scared to jump to PC as well, or to buy a pre-built PC that they don't even know the parts for. And a company like Valve having their stamp on a device is exactly what people are looking for. A company that has good support, a company that's great with the customers, and a company that has usually been consumer facing first consistently. And that's why people were incredibly excited about about the Steam Machine, even someone like myself, in the first place. It's not about selling video games, contrary to what you might actually believe. The point of the Steam Machine was to drive the adoption of SteamOS and Linux into this space. It was to show the work that Valve has done in Linux itself and with Proton to prove that people can in fact not require Windows or running anything on their own and be able to actually own their content, own their video games, and own their hardware without having to have AI or any sort of telemetry being spied on them while they use their system and PC in the first place. That was the entire point of the Steam Machine, to disrupt the operating system and platform system that we are now heading into head first. And instead of Valve looking at the Steam Machine as a loss leader and taking in short-term losses for long-term gains and long-term usage of people on SteamOS and Linux, they decided to say no, and they were going to send you the actual machine at cost, which in reality, I don't even think it's at cost, because when you find out how bad RAM was going with this system, it's actually insane they went through with this thing in the first place. Because also, according to IGN saying this, Valve states that RAM companies state prices monthly. If we say no, then they never talk to us again. Now look, we all know it's IGN, right? So we want to have a better source about it. Here, in fact, is Valve talking to Steve from Gamers Nexus, discussing what's actually happening with RAM right now and what was going on with the Steam Machine. Check it out.
Were you able to lock in kind of contracts for memory with the suppliers directly, or did you have to jump through a bunch of hoops? Or
look, there's no contracts, there's nothing. Like, those guys, they are, you know, they give us a price every month or something, and they say you can buy that many, and it's yes or no. And if we say no, then they never talk to us again.
Literally straight from the horse's mouth. Valve is in fact being put over a barrel about RAM. But the thing is though, it's not about the cost of RAM and the actual mafia being driven around in the DRAM space. What's really insane, and what should have been the alarm bell about the Steam Machine in the first place and how Valve should have taken a loss on this device, is what happens next.
The memory that's populated in the slots. Like, you know, at some point you might have 2 DIMMs, at some point you might have 1. It just changes based on the supply that we can secure. But at the end of the day, it should be comparable speeds and all that.
okay,
Yeah, just to be clear, basically, the system memory is 16 gigabytes. But again, to be able to build as many as we can, we have to essentially have some with 1 stick 16, some with 2 sticks of 8. I mean, we validated the performance delta. We don't really think it makes a big difference, or if any measurable difference at all. I mean,
for game work,
for games work.
If you're doing, you know, workstation stuff, the memory stuff, we understand that dual channel has a difference there, but you know, the wall clock time difference for real games is not. At least we thought it was worth it. It's either that or all the machines that, you know, have 1 slots, we couldn't have shipped them. But so like, I think it's worth the trade-off. But that's definitely that's impacting it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, did you guys hear that correctly? I know some of you may be falling back out of your chairs about this, but what we're looking at right now is Valve literally telling everybody your Steam Machine that you buy for $1,000 may have 2 sticks of RAM or 1 stick of RAM. Even though they're both 16 gigs, the problem is going to be dual channel memory and how that motherboard and how that CPU and how every other program accesses that memory on that device. The thing is though, anybody stuck with 1 stick, in my opinion, is going to be up the creek without a paddle. So after spending $1,049 with no controller, not even understanding what's happening to your own system and device, when you finally open that thing up and you realize, uh-oh, I've got 1 stick of RAM, I have to go upgrade it on my own to get dual channel, is actually insane. This is the moment right now that Valve should have stopped and said, hey, if we're in this kind of predicament right now, we should probably either do a couple of things. Either 1, delay the damn thing overall, 2, go ahead and just cancel the damn thing, or 3, do the next best thing, which is what they did right now. But even then, I feel like it's too little, too late. Because according to Wario64, quoting The Verge, saying this, Valve said that starting with SteamOS 3.8 release, you can put together your own Steam machine using whatever PC parts you want. with the article saying this, quote, "If you don't get lucky with Valve's Steam Machine reservation system, you can make your own Steam Machine instead." Valve says that starting with SteamOS 3.8 release, you can put together your own Steam Machine using whatever PC parts you want. SteamOS 3.8.10 launched last week with a slew of updates, including improved compatibility with recent Intel and AMD platforms. Alongside that improved compatibility, Valve is giving gamers the green light to install SteamOS on their own desktops. This, in my opinion, is also what Valve is doing right now, not in terms of going around doing the right thing for the customer, but instead hitting a panic button moment to release SteamOS in version 3.8.1, not because that's what they wanted to do, but it's because it's what they need to do. And that's the exact reason why I feel the Steam Machine should have not been released at all, and it should have been just kept on the back end, and they should have gone through and purchased RAM either when the bubble actually pops or just waited to fix SteamOS to hit a 4.0 release and then launch it across every other desktop in the actual space, and that would have been a better overall move. Since even Gamers Nexus during their testing with the Steam Machine noticed there are a lot of dependencies that still revolve around the Steam Deck itself. And even then, SteamOS treats a Steam Machine like a Steam Deck depending upon what games are being run or how much ray tracing is being used. And certain command lines have to be done in the launch options of SteamOS 3.8 in order for the Steam Machine to run those games correctly. This is completely out of left field and personally totally unacceptable across the board. Even though Valve has always been hot and heavy under the collar when it comes down to shipping things or putting games out or even putting hardware out, this to me is the biggest disaster they have encountered in a very, very long time. And like I said before, I understand that AI is an issue. I know about the AI mafia. I've been covering it on this channel, like I said before, for the past 8 months. The difference is, though, Valve is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and even though they didn't have any contracts with Micron, SK Hynix, or even Samsung, what they should have done was look at the long-term ramifications of what's happening right now and said, you know what? We could take a loss on this hardware because the hardware is not there to push games. The hardware is not there to push anything except SteamOS and putting people onto us as an operating system and as a platform. And don't give me this entire excuse about, oh, they can't subsidize it. They absolutely can subsidize this system. They're literally being sued by multiple countries being claimed to be a monopoly in the PC gaming space. And as much as I love what Valve has done with PC gaming, as much as I love how that company operates on their space, with how they interact with customers and have some of the best customer support I've seen, bar none, in the gaming right now, it's actually ridiculous Valve would make this decision to put this system out at this price point and even risk the potentiality of losing ground on SteamOS overall and pushing Linux into the forefront of what it should be in the gaming space right now. Now, hey, I know I've been a little bit hot under the collar, mostly because I really wanted to see this actual PC perform at the level it should, be priced at the level it should, and provide you with a better way of having proper compute in your space if you were scared of building your own PC or getting into PC gaming. And having that comfort of Valve being the one to bring you there is a good sign overall for a lot of people. The problem is this price is way too far out of the line, and for $1,049, I can build a better PC my damn self. With Reborn_444 saying this, LOL, you're not building a nice PC with $1,400 at the moment. RAM alone is 35% of the budget, with 1.9 thousand likes. Oh, we can't? We can't? Clearly you're not a PC gamer. If we did it to PlayStation, we could do it to Valve too. Let's go, boys! Here's Dentistopia on Twitter replying and saying this, every part in this list is from a quality, reputable manufacturer. The power supply is quality B+ tier on SPL, would be A tier if modular. The GPU gets 60% better frame times, twice the storage, faster CPU. SM CPU is laptop tier and power limited, and it's $25 cheaper. Cope! With an AMD Ryzen 5 5600, a Thermaltake Assassin CPU cooler, which I don't even think you actually need because I think the Ryzen 5 5600s all come with a CPU cooler on their own. That's just my guess, though I could be wrong. An MSI Pro B550 motherboard, G-Skill Ripjaws at 16 gigabytes, 2 8GB sticks. We have a Sabrent Rocket 1TB SSD. We have a Gigabyte OC Radeon 9060 XT, a Fantex XT V3 Micro ATX Mini Tower, and an Ace Rock Pro 850 watt power supply, all at $1,026. Here's Mr. No Name replying saying, here's 40% faster, buddy. With practically almost the exact same kind of build, Ryzen 5 5600X Cooler Master CPU cooler, AceRock B550, G-Skill Ripjaws, a 1TB SSD, a Sapphire Pulse Radeon 9060 XT, a Cooler Master case, as well as a 650 watt power supply, all for $1,046. So yeah, the one thing you don't do is challenge a PC gamer who knows what they're talking about on whether or not they can build a PC that's at the same price or even sometimes cheaper and performs infinitely better. Those PC builds costing $1,046, the exact same price as the Steam machine, are literally able to go ahead and beat the PS5 Pro in many situations. A console that costs $900 before you buy the disc drive and before you pay for online. Literally right there proving that PC gamers can in fact build a PC that goes ahead, beats the PS5 Pro for the same price you'll spend in a year for paying online, and has all the benefits of using Steam, can add SteamOS, and never have to deal with anything on Windows at all ever again. Valve should have absolutely gone through and taken a loss on this. And the possible statements of them saying, hey, we're just doing this at cost, is absolutely garbage across the board. Because if they're doing it at cost, they're getting absolutely rinsed by every single major manufacturer in this space right now. And it's honestly horrid to see. And as I said before, I was incredibly excited about the Steam machine. But right now, that price, absolutely not. I am not purchasing this product. I am not buying this device. What I'm simply going to do is dual boot SteamOS onto my actual PC, use my Steam Deck in the living room, and that's pretty much it for right now. Until Valve can go ahead and take a loss on their own system like they're supposed to, because the entire idea of the Steam machine was not to sell games or sell consoles, but to push SteamOS into every single home, then I'm not going to buy it. Sorry. And I want to make this incredibly clear. Because I was gone for a couple of days, apparently everybody online, or quite a few people actually, really were missing me, thinking about me, tweeting about me, talking about me non-stop for 72 hours, thinking I was going to defend Valve in some weird way, even though 3 weeks earlier I literally roasted Valve again for raising the price of their Steam Deck to $950. So clearly, a lot of you clowns literally love me, and I can't wait for you to react to this video and eat crow exactly when it's happening to you right now. Congratulations, you played yourself. My entire point of this channel, of this content, is not about defending Valve. It's about defending the consumer and the customer, regardless of whoever is in fact part or doing it, to make sure that people do not get a better price, better quality PC parts, or just proper consumer protection at all. And it doesn't matter who's doing it. So congratulations, clowns. You all played yourselves. So no, I will not be buying the Steam machine, but what I will be doing is getting SteamOS dual booted onto my PC and doing guides for people learning how to use Linux or SteamOS on that space then. Because like Valve said, if you can't buy one or can't afford one, you can make your own. And we just showed with a little bit of know-how and some elbow grease, you can make a Steam machine that can be anywhere between 60% or 100% faster than what they're selling you for the exact same price. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comment section down below. Are you guys getting a Steam machine? Are you going to build one yourself? Or are you just going to go ahead and wait until this bubble pops and everything falls down the wayside? I want to hear what you guys got to say. And speaking about what you got to say, I don't have a comment of the day. I'm sorry. I was on a vacation. I hope you guys had a great time. I hope you had a great Father's Day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I really hope I see you guys again tomorrow for another video as well. I love you guys. You're the absolute best. Now, as always, though, if you guys want to see more of this kind of content, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, SteamOS how-to guides coming soon as well, and even fanboy content and more stuff like this, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, hey, don't worry about it, bro. Just come on down to the live streams Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here as I wear a banana suit and get insulted with text-to-speech. The streams are insane. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Live Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on this channel. Do you want even more of me though? Check out @OhNoIt'sAlexGaming. Link to this channel is in the description down below. New videos out every Monday, and we're back to daily live gaming streams. See you guys today, 10:30 a.m. to around 2 p.m. as we stream more Stellar Blade. Can't wait to see you guys there. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one. and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!